Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So sorry to keep you waiting for 15 minutes or so. Actually, there were some network issues in my home, so the live was not functioning properly, but now it has finally started. Thank God.
Okay, I thought we'll be keep waiting, then I'll go, then I'll do explaining to everybody that why we didn't got live after announcing it. But anyways, turned out good.
Yes, yes. So, first of all, once again, I'd like to apologize to everyone who has been waiting for this to start for 15 minutes. There were some technical issues on our side, and we hope that in future we don't get into these kind of problems. It was unprecedented actually, so we couldn't do anything about it. It was network that was unstable. So let me extend my deepest gratitude to Mr. Hitesh Chaudhary for taking out time from his busy schedule to bless us with his presence today in this live session, which will prove to be beneficial for everyone involved, I'm sure. So
Thank you,
before we
and
begin,
no issues. No issues. I was just about to hit probably another cycle, right? So I'll delay that. No problem.
yeah, yeah, sure. So let me give everyone a brief introduction about Mr. Hitesh right here. So Mr. Hitesh is a technical video creator on YouTube, and he has a bachelor's degree from in electrical and electronics and communication engineering from Gyan Vihar with a grade A. And as we all know, he is the founder of the website LearnCodeOnline.in, which is actually brilliant. I have also personally tried their course, which a free course, and it was amazing. And I am also a subscriber on YouTube to Mr. Hitesh's channel, which is having 500K subscribers as of now, if I'm correct, somewhere around
Yeah, somewhere.
530K subscribers. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that is a
I
pretty
also
big deal.
don't
And
see that. I also don't see the exact number now, so it's somewhere around.
yeah, last I checked, it was like 530 some K, which is amazing. And to know someone who is from our domain, from the engineering domain, and then he's gone on to helping millions of students across the country, most of the times for free, to get into this field, which is very difficult to get into and to break into, and giving his valuable time to everyone involved. It is amazing, and we
No, I,
are
I
very
would
thankful
like
to everyone.
I would like to interrupt you here. I don't do stuff for free, so that is one thing I would like to clarify. I'm not the kind of a person who puts up the flag of free and then march. I don't do that. I charge for my services. It's yes, I do charge very minimal, but I do charge. So I'm not kind of a person who does everything for free. Sometimes to kill time, I post videos on YouTube, but not everything for free.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for that clarification. I was referring to your free courses, which are, I think, enough on their own. I saw them on your websites. Most of the courses are for free, and some of them are even cost like 300 rupees, 299 rupees, which is amazing. Like, I cannot see anyone else competing with you when it comes to pricing and quality of content. So that is what I was
Yeah,
referring to.
that Thank you so much. But again, the payment barrier is must to have in these kinds of courses, otherwise nobody
Yes,
values
sure.
them.
Sure, sure. So I would now request Mr. Hitesh to give everyone a brief introduction about himself if he wishes to do so.
No, I think
I have done my part.
you have done a very great job. I'm really thankful for your kind words. And I think that's enough. That's more than enough. And yes, one thing I can add is after doing my engineering, I did my master's too, and I'm a PhD dropout. So yeah, dropout tag. So I have that.
Gotta have the dropout tag to become successful in life.
Yeah, so I have that dropout tag, but from at a PhD scale, and that too after clearing all the exams without any break in any of the degrees.
Oh my God, that is amazing. So thank you so much, Mr. Hitesh, for that lovely introduction of yours. I'm sure everyone
Thank you.
here is inspired and full of energy. And let's begin with the Q&A session. Okay.
Sure, sure.
So
Fire that up.
the first question that we have for you, Mr. Hitesh, is that this is asked by someone who says, "How can I get a job as a Python developer if I have just 3 months left to prepare for the interview? And what should I study for the same?"
As they say, there is no magic that happens in 3 months or 3 days. How much previously you have worked hard as a Python developer? Are you being a Python developer for just like week or a month? Then surely you'll have a hard time to get a job. Surely doable, but it will be hard time. And compared to somebody who has spent like a year or 2 year or 3 year in Python, 100% you can crack down the job. And it all boils down to the same factor. You have to learn your data structures and you have to build enough of projects so that once you clear up those data structure rounds, you move into the talking interview round where you discuss your project. and you discuss them in depth. If you haven't built any in-depth project, you have nothing to talk and you'll be walking out of the interview room. So it's not like you can get a job just one day you woke up and say, now I have just 2 months and I have to get a job. You won't be getting like that high paid salary job, but everybody has got some role to do, so you definitely can. But don't expect like thousands and thousands of dollars of salary for that job because you have prepared that much.
You haven't prepared that good to demand that kind of money initially.
Yeah, so you need to understand you are an entrepreneur, Shell. You know that it's all game of how much you are giving and how much you are getting back. All the
Yes,
companies,
yes,
it's the
surely.
same thing. If you can offer them a skill which is 10 lakh rupees, they are ready to pay you 1 lakh rupees. So that's how it goes.
Yes, yes, sure. That is something which is very important to remember, that statement which he gave in the end. If a company is ready to pay you 10 lakh rupees, if a company is ready to make 10 lakh rupees from a skill of yours, they're going to pay you 1 lakh rupees. That is how it goes in the industry.
Yeah, it's a straight. It's a Google, it's a Microsoft. This is the same. It's business.
Yes, sure, sure. So let us move to the second question that we have. Is it okay to do any internship for free? And also, can you please suggest how can we apply for internships apart from LinkedIn?
There are many ways you can get reference. I have seen people firing up direct links to their GitHub directly to me that, hey, Tej, this is my portfolio. If you think that's impressive, can we get some internship or something? And I have hired and I have recommended some to my friends as well. My friends have got directly them. So make sure you have a portfolio which you can show off. That is the key to get an internship, and it depends on should you do internship for free or not. Yes, I know it's an interesting subject to make videos and to bash these companies, but it all depends what you are learning. If let's just say I get an internship from an amazing designer, I would love to do it for free because I know that I'll gain something and really good for that. But am I skilled enough that I can do internship under him? Do I know my Adobe XD, Photoshop? Then surely I love to do it for free. It's not always about money. It's about how much you are getting. And all time, sometimes what you're getting back is not in the form of money. Sometimes it's in the form of some skills or maybe networking or maybe future bragging that, yes, I've done internship under him. So it's not always about the money. Sometimes it's a different. But again, in order to do internship, it's all about how much I have to offer that company or that person. Like there's one guy, this Pablo. He's amazing designer. If you watch his YouTube videos or something, I have seen him in some of the conferences. If he would invite me to do internship, I would love to be someone under his assistant or something. He is amazing designer. So again, what you're getting back is something.
Yes, yes. If someone of your stature is ready to work under someone to gain experience, it speaks volumes
I'm all,
about
I'm all
how
the
we should.
time ready to anybody. If there is anybody who can offer me internship on design or Figma or some UX, I would love to even walk into your company and do all the stuff that you can offer me.
That is amazing. That is the hunch to learn and to keep learning that makes one successful, and you surely have that. I'm
Uh,
very appreciative of that.
Thank you.
So the next question is that when we will be getting to see your new tech tutorials like IoT, blockchain, deep learning, etc. This is one from one of your
Uh,
subscribers, I believe.
it all depends like how much demand I'm getting. Like when you put a video on a crash course, it gets millions and millions of views. But when you put up a series which is followable, like my JavaScript series, you see the numbers are going down and down and down. Compared to a channel who is having 500,000 subscribers, I get views like 800, 500. So again, when you make a videos, you expect how much audience is there. If I'll make an IoT video, I'll buy some devices and hardware, then two people will watch it probably. When I was making a video on Linux series, 15 people were watching it, but suddenly it got popular after that. So again, when I'll make video on something, when that technology will get popular. So I'll be the first one to make that. I used to be the very first guy who puts out a course on iOS. Whenever iOS 8 came out, 9 came out, 10 came out, I was the first one to put out a course in the entire US market. But now my audience is more into India, so I don't make much of the iOS courses. So it all depends on what people want to learn. I'll make that and I'll make the best of it.
Yes, I'm sure you'll make the best stuff. As a subscriber myself, I can confirm and I can vouch for the quality of content that this guy creates. I'm a huge fan, by the way.
Thank you.
So, let's move to the next question, which even I have this question as a personal computer science undergrad myself. I have this question as well. What are the most important programming languages to learn in 2020, considering the domain of Indian IT industry, and especially considering the impact of COVID pandemic on the future of jobs in the
It all
industry?
depends. Like the entire India is so big, first and foremost, that you have to figure out that where you want to do the job. Like the northern part is still heavy on the PHP market. Some people think that it's out of the job and it's not trendy anymore, but northern part of the country is still PHP dominant. The middle part, like Maharashtra and all these regions, they are moving towards the newer ones like Angular and all these. You'll find heavy there. And on the southern part, it's the state of the art, whatever you can learn, like the modern React, modern Angular, modern Node, Django. They work on everything which is the latest and the modern. So pick out where you would like to learn. And some of the languages that I can recommend personally, don't miss out on JavaScript. Like if you're in 2020 and you're missing JavaScript, you're missing a whole lot of opportunities. And to clear up your fundamentals, there is only just one language I would recommend, which is C++. It's amazing. It's in depth. Helped me to crack multiple times interviews in the Big Fang. And I do have put up a course there as well. It's like dirt cheap, 299 or something. But
Yes,
make
yes,
sure
I
you
saw
don't,
that.
yeah, and you don't need to necessarily learn C or Java to understand C++. Every language has its own variables, loops, and functions. Surely past languages help, but it's not compulsory. It's just a kind of upsell or something, but you can directly jump. So don't miss out JavaScript. To clear your fundamentals, learn C++ as well, and then pick up anything on your choice.
Okay, so you heard him, people. Don't miss out on JavaScript and C++. They are the most important languages as far as his opinion goes, and I'm sure his opinion is second to none. He is like the at the forefront of this industry and at the education portfolio. And I'm sure you must have a lot of connections and must interact with a lot of people who are in big positions in these companies, FANG
Yeah,
companies.
definitely.
And
I don't use them much, but I do have my connections there, especially in the YouTube. Like, I think eight of my friends are currently working in the YouTube and especially in the ad division. They sell out the spaces of the ad. So I don't misuse them. I have my live, one of the live with Abhishek, which is still on my channel. I do have my friends in Razorpay, in Paytm, even in Tesla. Also, recently one of my friend got hired. So yes, I do have connections, and I have personally worked in Firestore, so Google is like very much I'm connected there too. But yeah, I do have limited connections.
so one of your statements caught me by surprise. You said that one of your friends is working for Tesla. And as far as
Yeah.
I know, Indian citizens are not allowed to work for Tesla due to their security concerns because they work in the field of rocket engineering and autonomous automobile, which are some sectors which are defined as classified in terms of U.S. government notification. So is he an Indian citizen, or is he someone
No,
who
no, it's
did his
not like
undergrad for India?
I've seen my LinkedIn is actually filled with a couple of people who are 100% Indian and are actually working as an internship in Tesla. I have seen that once, so I don't know. And again, it's not like really I have all the Indian friends who are there, so I am a quite traveler, so it's not like all of them are Indian.
Okay, so there are multiple nationalities
Yeah,
involved here.
yeah, definitely. I have majority of my friends because I have worked so long for the US people, so I do have my some of the best friends from those countries as well. So it's not like I'm talking only about the Indian zone here. I don't really believe that there should be any concept of countries, but let's leave that apart.
Okay, so one person has pointed out, Shubham Gupta has pointed out that it's just SpaceX. So what I'm talking about, the rules, they only apply to SpaceX, not all the
Yeah,
companies
that
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 come under
might be
Tesla.
yeah, that
That
might
might
be
be
the
it. Yeah, I
case.
got it confused in my
I have
head.
nobody in SpaceX, but Tesla definitely I have seen and I know personally that yes, there are people from this beautiful country as well.
Okay, thank you so much for answering that question eloquently. Now let's move to the next question. This one is from again from one of your fans. I know this is a silly question to ask, but I can stalk your Instagram account a lot, and now I believe that you are a minimalist. Why do you always wear a gray T-shirt? It's cool, but still.
It looks first good on me, and I it's been long now that I got too much of comfort. And yes, I don't call myself like 100% minimalist, but I don't like too much of stuff around. Mostly my house and everything is just empty. Not in the gadget area. I have got like few gadgets sitting around. Look at this lens. Like I do have these things,
Okay.
but Clothings and stuff, I just got one t-shirt, just one jeans, literally from last, what, 2 years? Yeah, that's it. And I have just two shoes, literally one pair of shoes. That's it. And one bag that I bought like, what, 6 years ago. And that bag has traveled with me, what, like 20 countries. You don't need that much.
Yes, that is living minimalistic is the
Yeah,
key.
one of my early tours when I was in France and I was traveling from France to Switzerland, I didn't had even my camera. I was just clicking photos from my phone and that's it.
That is amazing. And coincidentally, I am also wearing a grey t-shirt today.
Yeah, that's I like
You-
that.
I'm somewhat of a minimalist myself.
Yeah, it's like just get what you need. Don't be like too much minimalistic, but don't like buy things which you don't really need.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer. Now we move on to the next question for today, which is I have sort of asked this before, but let me repeat it. This is from one of your fans again. I was going through your website, which is Learn Code Online, and I saw a few courses for just 299 rupees. Even ordering a pizza from Swiggy costs more. How can the courses be for just 299 rupees? That is an amazing question, to
Uh,
be honest.
there is another one if you look out the MERN course, which is not 299, which is 199 actually. So
That is amazing.
and that is a MERN course is actually full stack development. You will build an entire t-shirt store along with payment gateway and two payment gateways, Stripe and the Braintree. So it's one of the most comprehensive course you will ever do. And yes, the reason how we are able to afford that because we are not making much money on that. If you don't know, AWS pricing costs a lot. But yes, of
It
course,
does.
I can do this much a little bit. There was no plan of launching this price, but I think in the COVID situation, it is necessary that if like few hundred people get a job with these courses, I'll be happy. And some people asked me to put up a donate button, something so that when they get job, they can help a little bit. I am thinking for it, but one thing that helps us in putting up these courses at affordable price is good practice of coding, as well as some of the our customized, my personal written code that encrypts the video into a lower resolution, keeping the quality same. So these transcoding and encoding helps you a lot. So if you know a little bit about how these videos are encoded, in what form factor, like there is H.264 and H.265. So these actually help you to reduce down the size of these videos. The videos that I make for YouTube, they are in size of like 2.5 GB with all color correction and everything. And if you know how to write your algorithms, which can shrink it down nicely, you can actually compress it to like 500 MB. And some videos, tutorial videos that I make, they are like 600 to 700 MB. Some of them you can shrink it down to like 20 MB or something.
Okay, so your algorithm which you wrote yourself, it can shrink down videos that range from 600 to 700 MB to 20 MBs for
Yeah,
streaming
and still,
purposes.
yeah, and still keeps the quality that you see.
Uh, okay, so my mind has been blown by just thinking about how is that achievable? How can uh, I
Yeah,
guess I'll have to learn as much as you to figure out someday how to do that.
yeah, and still
That
on
is
top of
impressive. That
that,
is very
some
impressive.
yeah, and the more you optimize your stuff about streaming and stuff, you can afford that. But again, in on top of that, still 199 is like you you cannot afford that kind of pricing. The pricing, especially when you are not backed by venture groups and capitals and having millions and millions of dollars of funding, then it's something that you have to take care. Like what you can afford, like what would be good range for us to put up a pricing and make decent amount of money would be like 1200 rupees or 1300 rupees would be ideal for us, that we can maintain the server costing, advertisement costing, pay 18% to government, 30% to Google, and then make a little bit for us. So that would be ideal for us.
And I'm sure you must be able to achieve that target financially every month because you have a lot of fans.
Yeah, it's going good. We actually, the numbers at Learn Code Online are pretty high, and those are the number I care about. I really don't care much about my YouTube graph going up or down. If the subscriber is hitting a million or not, but I want them to hit quickly a million on Learn Code Online. That is where the focus is. So that number matters me a lot.
That is the right plan going forward, I believe, because that is the
Yeah.
website which actually matters and has the better content compared to YouTube.
Yeah, definitely.
So
And
now
this is the one, LearnCode Online focuses on only on Indian audience. I do have other websites as well, which focus on other countries, but this is what I'm focusing majorly here.
that is amazing. That is amazing. So let us move to the next question now. Uh, this is from again from one of your fans. In lockdown, most of my friends are Android developers, and they asked whether the price of Flutter and Dart will be reduced or not.
One thing, the best thing that I've ever done at LearnCode Online is keeping the price always same. They only go up, they never go down. We never roll out sales, we never roll out discount coupon, and I'm keeping them same for the next foreseen future. Like when you introduce these coupons and discount, I have seen to some of the best website which I worked with them in initial days, they are in a nightmare situation right now. Nobody buys their courses or anything without discounts, without coupon codes. So there is no chance that the pricing is going to reduce. Pricing only goes up and it stays always constant. It's not like I'll post up a video, give you a discount code, and then you can apply. Surely it gives a good feeling that I have got 50% discount and 80%, but no. If I want to offer a course at 199, I'll directly put a 199. If a course is like 799, it will be 799. If it is 1200, it will be 1200. No chance of that.
That is actually good because I have seen on many websites like if to name few like Udemy and all, they have coupons running all year long. Like
Yeah, I
whenever you open their website, you get that
there is
coupon,
always a
especially for today.
yeah, probably I should share or not, but let's just say I was in this conference on Udemy, and there was a guy who was a keynote speaker there. His name is Guy Kawasaki. I met him there in the conference. Amazing marketer, amazing. There are some
Oh yeah,
books by
I've heard
him,
about him.
yeah, Purple Cow and some. He's great. And this was the concern to him that you have opened a devil's pit of the coupons. Now, how you are going to close it down? If you have an exit strategy, that's a great thing. Like Swiggy, they had this exit strategy. Everybody knows there's a Swiggy it coupon, but now it's gone. You don't apply it anymore. So they had the exit strategy with that, but that company didn't had the exit strategy. So again, I can give you some other names like Alan Hill started this $10 coupons and stuff, but again, things went sideways after that there. And now the
Yeah,
courses quality is compromised because like people, that's another story. Let's not go sideways. But yeah, given to your answer, we don't really enjoy the discounting stuff. We don't really enjoy these coupon stuff. So yes, definitely the coupon code is there. That is for the internal team to enroll in the courses. We don't do discounting, and we will never be doing that for foreseen future.
thank you so much for answering that question. Now we move on to the next question. This guy says, "Hello sir, I am a big fan of yours. Please recommend me a laptop, Apple or Windows for Android development using Flutter or Java. 60K is the budget for Windows and 130K for Mac. The currency is INR."
I have recommended you a videos that don't think too much, get anything and get started. But in case you want me to comment on that, my personal preference is any Mac is little bit better on the Windows side because you get more reliability and as closeness as you can get to the Linux. Just alone the Linux is not that reliable because your mouse might not be working, your trackpad not be working. So until unless you are a pro in Linux, don't just install Linux like that. It might give you more headaches. But I would say Mac is my choice. It gives me as close as Linux. I'm more comfortable in that installing Node or any Flutter or anything. Performance wise, it plays far better than any expensive Windows laptop. So yeah, a lot of people can say that I'm biased toward Apple, but yes, I am. I am biased because it has given me more performance, especially on the video side. Your job might not be related to videos. I make tons of videos every day. I need that performance and silent fan. So it's important for me to have these latest iMacs and stuff. But yeah, I would say I think you can, if you can see that, I can show you that. Uh, yeah, that's the laptop one here. That's the latest one. Uh, what's the name of that? I forgot. The Asus, the gaming laptop, the latest one.
ROG, is that ROG?
Yeah, yeah, that's the latest ROG one with the beast up specs. And still, that's always usually there unless I'm recording some tutorial specially on Windows. That's usually there.
Okay, so I hope that you got your answer from him.
Yeah. My
He claims that
recommendation
Apple
is
is his
if you
preferred
can
choice.
get Apple, just get it and forget for the next 5 years, and you'll be focusing just on coding, not much on gaming and other side tracks. And you'll have enough of money
That
after like 4 or 5 years that you can buy like 3 or 4 Windows.
Yes, that is something which I made a mistake on personally. I bought a Windows laptop and now gaming takes up a lot of time of my life.
Yeah,
I should
and
have
the
gone for the
experience
Mac.
is and his experience is also not really good. I bought an NBA 20 game on this. I played on laptop. It was not really good. Then I bought it again on my PlayStation, and it's worked so fantastic.
Yeah,
And I am
PlayStation is
recently,
head and shoulders above. Head and shoulders
yeah,
above the PC, PlayStation.
yeah, and I'm recently playing this another game, which is Horizon. Like, wow, just
Oh, that
in
is
years,
amazing.
in years I have
I
seen
love that
some
game.
game like in years I have seen something like that brilliant, amazing game.
Yes, it is amazing. I highly recommend it to anyone who is interested in gaming. Play Horizon.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. Which is better to use while developing an application, Java or Flutter?
Depends. What's your goal? Like, if I'm something which is running a company like Amazon or Learn Code Online, yes, I would choose Flutter. And if you have budget, you can. What is your target audience? Like, if my target audience is in India as well as in US, I need an Android app, I need an iOS app, and everything is happening majorly on my website. I just need an app to handle the things on mobile. I'll go with Flutter. But if you're building up something very specific to Android, want to use the core features of Android, then I would definitely go for Java. So since you can see that Learn Code Online, apps like Learn Code Online, Amazon, they don't do much of the feature usage of the mobile itself. They are just there to give you a better experience on mobile. You can do everything there. So if that is kind of a thing, I would choose React Native or Flutter. But if you're doing something very specific to your phone, playing something with cameras and everything, or doing some stories or something like that, then definitely I'll go for a native app.
Okay, thank you so much for your amazing answer. Now we move on to the next question, which is this guy is basically asking for a suggestion for backend for Android. Please suggest me any backend for Android using Java. I know Firebase very well. Do I have to switch to React or Mongo, or Firebase is good for everything?
Firebase definitely can serve you pretty much everywhere. And not just I'm talking about the Firebase real-time database, I'm talking about the Firestore. Because in the Firestore, you can have multiple collections. You can interlink those connections with the foreign keys and all those concepts. You can fire the queries as well. Pricing wise, yeah, it can get comparatively expensive, but their authentication like is dirt cheap. You cannot get anything cheaper than their authentication. And I would say that, and on to your question, suggest me a backend. All of the backends are compatible with Android. Go with Django, with your Spring Boot, you get your Node, PHP, everything is compatible with the uh, your Android stuff. Even if you don't get like core SDKs for it, just use APIs. Everybody is using API these days. Fire APIs from your backend and everything can handle API.
Okay, so you got your answer. Use the APIs, and Firebase is good enough for everything, I guess. And their
Yeah, and
pricing is second
especially
to none.
authentication. Like, have you ever tried to build your own authentication anytime? It is a nightmare to build your own authentication. Just the sign up, that's it. It's such a nightmare. What algorithm will be you will be using? How you'll make it optimize? Where you will be storing your salt values? And how about how long the salt values will? What would be the seed values for the random of the salt? There are so many decisions that you take in that. In case you have studied a little bit on the cryptography side, but it's a nightmare. And these all solution comes right out of the box from things like your Firebase, and that too at a dirt cheap price. Like, I don't know what more you want to ask for free.
Okay, so it saves you a lot of time and it is very cheap. I am
Yeah,
assuming that the choice is clear. You have to go for it. You should go
yeah.
for it.
Either
You
go
should
for
go for Firebase.
Firebase, either go for OAuth, the Auth Zero website. They also give you these authentication, because how secure can we build ourselves? Google definitely I can trust they can have the securest of the authentication. I prefer that. I prefer that. If you are using any other database, even you are using Mongo, AWS, or anything, use the authentication side of Firebase.
Okay, so Firebase is the clear choice here, as he has
Yeah.
made clear. Now we move on to the next question. How to prepare for online contests conducted by CodeChef and so on and so forth, and how to manage time in these contests.
One thing that I can say is use the weekend test. At Learn Code Online, we host weekend tests. They are absolutely 100% free. One test happen on Saturday 7 p.m., another at 9 p.m. Short time. If you miss it, like if you cannot come 7:30, you have to be 7 o'clock. And on Sunday as well, same timing. So they will prepare you a lot in the upcoming. Like we have tests on MySQL, on C++. They are not the test based on competitive programming. You don't write code. These are like the initial rounds. They prepare you. So go ahead, take them since they are free. So don't miss that one. And these competitive programming and stuff, they are something like, have you prepared for IIT JEE? Or
You're
heard
asking
about
me.
how to preparation? Yeah. And or you have
Uh,
seen that how the preparation is done.
yes, I have seen the
Those
rigorous
people,
schedule that they go through.
yeah, those people actually solves a lot of sheets, back to back questions and questions and question. That is the way how you deal up with these competitive programming as well. It's not about the concepts are just limited. You have to just learn these concepts, and after that you keep on practicing and you keep on upgrading yourself as how fast I can solve that, how fast the logic can click on to me. So that's the way how you do it. Give more
Okay, so
exams, practice
practice.
more, give more exam.
Okay, so it's basically similar and comparable to the JE preparation cycle. You have to
Yeah,
learn the
almost like
concepts and
that.
you have to
And we
practice
have
them.
seen that some of the best developers that I've seen through the Learn Code Online, when they take those tests at our app, these are interview preparations. I've seen their score going absolutely down because the clock is ticking there. You have limited amount of time, and even just reading the question, marking which one out of the four is correct, it boils you, it takes you down. It's a tough environment that we are putting up. So I would recommend everybody to just take out these free tests. I don't know what more to offer there. They are 100% free. You can take them at your home in your app and just evaluate yourself where you are standing.
This brings a question to my mind. So, for example, let's say that I am an undergrad student, right? And I'm looking forward to get into the IT industry as an SDE1 or a junior developer, junior engineer, let's say. So, is this kind of
Mhm.
preparation required to clear the basics, the most basic of jobs like SDE1 as well?
Yep, 100%. We every weekend we host these aptitude tests because you cannot avoid them. Whether you like it or not, you have to go through with these aptitude rounds. And if you're not preparing for these aptitudes, there is no way you are going to get better in them. So take these tests, make sure what you are doing, what mistakes you are doing, take again another week and then do a little bit more preparation. There is no escape from them because thousands and thousands of people are applying. Everybody's saying, I'm the best developer. How to figure out? There needs to be some kind of filtration. Is it correct or not? That's a different question, but there needs a filtration. And you know, one thing in India, we are a lot of people. We are a whole lot of people. So there
Yeah,
is no avoidance of that.
you cannot avoid the competition at any cost. You have to
No
face
chance
them
of that.
one
We
way or
are we are
another.
we are too many.
Yes. Okay, so let's move to the next question now. Uh, wow. This is actually a question that puts me in a sort of moral dilemma as well. That is a question which I have been having inside me for a few years now. So this is, why do we need to study physics and chemistry to crack IIT exams and then learn programming?
You have
Is
to
there
if
any
you
relationship between physics and
Yes,
programming?
there is a lot of relation. Uh, you have to learn all these subjects which you think are not really good for you. Like you should really study more of these subjects so you can definitely solve something which is more relatable. Let me give you. Uh, do you think that somebody who was really a great programmer built the Apple? It's not actually a fact. They saw a problem, they tried to come up with a solution, and programming helped them in that. If you don't study your physics, if you don't study your history, if you don't study your geography, you cannot actually thrive in the world of programming. When somebody built up this GPS map, do you think the how he was able to solve this all these problems that you see around in the GPS maps? He had a great knowledge of the geography, and then comes up the history as well, that all the historic landmarks should be there on these maps. So the more you study about the things which are not just focused on programming, the better you become as a general to implement those programming. Uber was not a programming breakthrough. Uber was a breakthrough was It was a breakthrough of a general problem that we all were facing. Paytm was a problem, and programming helped them to solve these problems. So, don't you think that you can be a kid who can just spend all day long staring at the screen, can write amazing code, and you will be a great business owner or somebody who can solve a great problem. You have to get out, you have to see some kind of problem, and then programming helps you to do that. A lot of apps that I build and a lot of things that I do here, I see the problem by interacting with the students, by going out in the countries. And that's where I think that, yeah, this is the problem I can solve through making an app or through a website. So it's very important for everybody to learn beyond what the things that you don't like, whether it's history, your geography, your civics, everything is important. So don't just think that physics and chemistry, they are bad. No, they are not. You have to learn them.
So everything holds equal importance when it comes down to
Yeah.
becoming a future revolutionary programmer or
Yeah.
someone who creates a business and everything.
Everything. So it's very important that you learn something that you don't really like. Just like you have to eat your veggies. Probably you don't like it, but you have to eat them.
Yes, that is an amazing correction that you made. The next question that we have is suggestions to start with app development for a novice developer or someone who's basically trying to begin. And how long will it take for me to get in touch with the concepts required to get a job in the field?
It depends which language you are getting sync with, because it's very important that with which language you are getting sync in. Are you getting sync? You feel more comfort in Java or JavaScript, or maybe you are ready to learn something new like Dart. So which zone you are more comfortable in? That's going to determine that what framework you can jump in. And please don't say Python because we don't do everything in just one language. There are specific languages for those specialization. So keep your fanboy thing aside for a Python for a minute, and let's see where you get your most comfort zone, because job scope and everything are plethora there. Definitely React Native is getting more because more apps are in the production right now, which are built in React Native. So that job market is little higher. But a lot of new, you say startup, not startup, but about to be a startup are focusing a lot on Flutter as well because support is going really amazing. But again, it's not really yet in the market. It will be very soon. So pick up your language first, where you see the most comfortness. Try out my JavaScript series or the Java course and see like, yeah, this is more what I like and this is what I can bear to watch on the screen for like hours and hours. And that's where I would like to be.
Okay, so the last statement of yours that you made that we should watch your courses for the same. There is a question that I saw in the sheet, which comes later, but I'd like to ask it right now to maintain the flow, of the discussion that we are having right now. And the
Sure,
question
sure.
was along the lines of that: if let's say I buy your Java course or your JavaScript course, so is your Java course sufficient and it encompasses everything that is required to get a job in that field,
I really
or does
don't
it miss
like
it
to
out
put
on
this.
some stuff?
No, I don't really like to put up things, everything, because I don't think any book or any of my course or anybody's course can cover up anything. But it's a good starting point that you won't have to pick up another course after that. If some concept or something that are missing, you can eventually learn it through the documentation or the way how I'm teaching you to learn those languages. So you can pick it up on your own. One thing I can say, you don't need to buy any other course after that. So that's all I can say. Like if you remember, recently I posted a video on double shots in JavaScript. I don't think
Yes,
any
yes.
book or any course can actually talk you through with that. And in fact, my original series didn't cover it up. But I just came up with that. And if you'll ask me, does your course cover this specific double shot topic? Most of people were not even aware that such topic exists. So if you'll ask me, is it covering everything? No, there are many other topics that I can say. Like you have seen my C++ course and many of you have taken. It's a very in-depth course. But are we talking about mutex there? No, we are not, because most of us don't know where should I use it, uh, because it's not there. So my courses, and definitely I don't think any author's courses cover everything, but enough that you can just get started and be on your own after that.
Okay, so they are basically self-sufficient when it comes to the sense that you can get into the field. There is no other
Yeah,
course required. That is self-sufficient on its own, and to get started
yeah,
and get
that
a
I can say that
grip
you
on
won't
the
be needing another
concepts.
one.
That is a very good statement to make, and that hopefully that last statement that you made answers the questions that everyone might have. You don't need any other course, as the man himself has said. So it is self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we move on to the next question, which is what are your views on PHP, MVC frameworks, and are they good or bad? Please explain in brief and how to study PHP for free. Okay, so basically, he's asking for your views on PHP and MVC frameworks, and also asking for a
Uh,
resource to study PHP.
if you want to learn anything for free, the documentation are always the best resource. So it depends how much you are valuing your time. If you are valuing your time that, yeah, I have a year, 2 year, you can dive through in the documentation. It's free, it's available, just go with that. I don't think anything can be near to that free resource. But again, are you able to understand those documentation? Because they are held up. So it depends
Yes.
how much you want to have those things for free. But again, it's your choice. Internet has given this liberty that everything is free, which is a very high cost. Trust me, free is a very, very high cost. Coming to the PHP, I think it's still one of the rock solid in the freelancing market, and nobody can even touch it for upcoming few years. It is so much dominant in the world. And some of the projects which I think don't really need that high-end things like Java, like these React, Angular. If somebody comes to me as a freelancer and say, "Hey, I am starting this business. I need just a website of my couple of coffee brands. I'm selling them offline, but I want my clients to be there on website and just a contact form which goes to my email." Why would I deploy Angular or React or Django or something as complex there when I can just get it away by doing a form in PHP and host it on something as cheap as GoDaddy or something like that? I would love to do that. Why would I bring something heavy guns there? So, and
Yes.
especially the WordPress market, it's very competitive, cutthroat to be honest, but it still is a market and there are hundreds of people getting job in that. So again, pick up the technology which suits best for the need. It's not like PHP is outdated, don't touch that. We build everything in React. Your client is not paying you enough to work on React. Your client is saying, I'll just give you $100 for these 3 or 4 page websites. It should have a contact form. Why would I put up my skills on that? I would love to put up a PHP there and that's it. Get the job done, get paid and enjoy the life. Why worry too much on that?
Okay, don't overcomplicate stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. Keep it stupidly simple.
Okay, so PHP is the dominant choice when it comes to keeping it simple and also meeting the requirements of the clients. Is that how
Yeah,
you sum it up?
it's yeah, I would say that if I would be a Batman, I would always keep PHP in my belt. I would never skip that. It might be the day saver for some of the day. I won't be using it every day, but I still am proud that I know my PHP skills and I can deploy that anytime.
Okay, so PHP is the thing to go for. I
Yeah,
hope that the
definitely.
question is answered well. Okay, so thank you for your answer. Now we move on to the next question. I want to work for product-based companies. FANG has been mentioned in double inverted commas. Okay, so should I go for competitive coding or in development for my placement?
What you will be doing after work, after joining the FANG, like you will be doing competitive coding there all the time?
Uh,
You
then
want to
this is
go
not my
in.
question. This is a question from one
No,
of your fans.
I'm just having a small discussion with you. So, what you'll be doing
Okay,
in the
so
FANG, you definitely will be building some stuff. You're going in a product-based company. So, it's not like you'll be just, this is a problem. This is a perfect algorithm. Surely we do that. But competitive programming and preparation for interviews is a completely different subject. And what you do there after you get a chair in that company, that's a complete different aspect. So avoiding development, I don't think so. You are a programmer and it is expected that you will be building stuff. So if you don't know how to build the stuff, you are as good as the engineer who just got his degree. So don't be that guy. Learn the development part. And I really need to give some kind of acronym to Indian-based companies as well, because yes, FANG is popular, but I would be really happy if people get equally excited to work in something like Flipkart, Paytm, Razorpay, Instamojo, Swiggy,
that is
Zomato.
an
These are
amazing
equally
statement.
good company. So instead of just saying that, hey, this country is bad and everything, and I don't like it, I would like to go abroad. I don't think that there is a need of it. Now Indian companies are good enough. They are doing very well. The work environment is like state of the art. And I think a little bit thought should be given to, instead of going into fact, we have product based companies. Zomato is the finest of the product. Swiggy is the finest of the product. Ola is giving a neck to neck competition to Uber. So just support a little bit to them.
Okay, so your answer is amazing and it covered almost everything and also mentioned a thing that Indian companies are often undermined because everybody
Yeah.
keeps using these FANG and all the acronyms. And now I remember one thing that I read some time ago. There is an Indian startup that goes by the name of Zoho. And recently it
Amazing.
outnumbered Yeah, it's
Amazing.
recently
Like
outnumbered a lot of foreign companies when it comes to customer satisfaction and customer retention and also employee satisfaction. They were
they
above
are
Amazon, if I am right.
they are
If I
giving
remember
neck to
correctly,
neck
they were above
competition to
Amazon.
Gmail. Can you believe that? Corporates don't like
That
to
is
use
amazing.
Gmail. They like to use Zoho. And almost all of the companies that I have worked, they have heard the Zoho, they have the discussion in Zoho, and probably most of them opted for the Zoho. Like it's state of, and that is not backed by any venture, in case you don't know that. They are not raising any money, no funding at all. They are self-sustained
Yes,
company.
they're self-sustaining.
Yeah, that is like everybody nowadays. I have this idea, I have this prototype, I want to get funding. Give me $350 million or give me $8 million and everything. You don't need money sometimes. Like Learn Code Online, we don't need that much of money to raise it. Surely having that money would be keeping us front in the front, and probably we can have some of the finest of the competition. We are at that stage now. But I don't want that. I want it to be self-sustained as long as possible.
Actually, my brother is a developer in Zoho, so that is when I got to know that information from. And he's a
It's
proud
really a
employee. Yeah, and he is not intending to leave the company anytime soon. Like he got an offer from, I believe it was McKinsey, I believe, for a developer job, and he left it for staying in Zoho because he's very impressed with the work environment
I
and the
really
connections.
really appreciate that somebody is that much loyal to Zoho, and I would love to be one day probably I'll ask and reach out to Zoho that I would like to take a tour of your campus and probably have a discussion in your boardroom or something. I would love to have a small discussion with their developers and team. Like I'm heavily impressed by Zoho.
Me too. I am a huge fan of Zoho, and hopefully I get into it one day. It is very difficult. Their coding interviews are as good as Google and Amazon, I believe, because they are very focused on taking quality. And most of the Indian startups are focused on taking quality. Let's talk about 1MG and all. 1MG is there, and then there is the Book My Show and all. I saw their coding questions, and they are very difficult to crack. Not easy, not a piece of cake.
Yeah, definitely they take some efforts. But one thing that I have realized is when you do these computer coding, you actually get into the flow of solving the question. You don't really understand what you are solving. People do like 15 questions every day, like 10 questions. You don't need to do 20 questions, 15 questions every day. If you just pick up one concept, like this is the type of question I now know, I don't need to like, there is a very famous question like rotten oranges question, the river questions, the island question. So most of you might have heard about either three of them. They are all exactly same. You don't need to do three of them. You just need to understand how to do it one, and that's it. Just leave it. So again, that can speed up your interview preparation. But people are just about, I need to solve questions. Give me questions. I'll write some code. Submit it. Don't go into the flow of that. Just see. Take a pause. Take a deep breath and see what the hell you are doing.
That is an amazing insight that you shared right now. You have to take a pause and you have to realize what are you doing instead of going on like a machine and keep on solving questions with no
You
aim
don't need to
inside.
solve 1,000 questions. You just need probably 100 of max 150 questions. That's more than enough.
That is amazing because most people think that the more number of questions you solve, the more your chances are of clearing a company. But a
Yeah,
hundred questions is all you need, as I said.
you're solving 50 questions just of array. Like what good is it doing for you? You're solving 50 questions next day on just binary search tree. What the hell is wrong with you?
Amazing answer, and that is something which I'll remember when my placements come around. Not to solve 50 questions of every topic, but just pick up 10 or 5 good questions and then move on to the next topic.
Yeah, that's it. And make up your chart. There are like what, 15 topics, I guess. You pick up array, recursion, BST, stack, queues, uh, recursive, and everybody's favorite dynamic programming, which everybody tries to solve on the day one and fail miserably. But again, that's a topic. And then there are a little bit miscellaneous, and that's it. That's it. There's not much linked list, of course. So there's a general category that you can pick up.
Okay, so let's move to the next question. This question took a lot of time, but it was worthwhile because we learned a lot of things from this one
Chill
question.
out. Chill out. You don't need to get all the questions. Whatever we are getting, just chill, relax, enjoy.
Yes, I am having fun. I'm sure you are having fun.
Of course.
Okay, so let's keep going. The next question is like, okay, so next question is not related to programming or education in general. It is someone is wanting to know about your journey. It is just a statement. I want to know about your journey. So please, we all
It's
want to
not
know about your
really
journey.
it's not really like that much I'm having like KGF style kind of a journey. It's not like that. It's really simple. From last 5 years, every single day I've been recording at least one or two videos, and I haven't missed out. If someday I've missed out, I've worked extra hard on other day to make sure that I get more videos. I haven't missed out writing code in last like 7 years or something, and just do it every day. It's not really that hard.
Okay, so that is the key to success, I believe.
Yeah, and
Repeating your progress every day, repeating your cycle every day instead of doing a single sitting of 10 hours or let's say 12 hours a day, but once a week or twice a week, you have to give 2 or 3 hours every day
you
until and
have to
unless you
do
reach your
it.
goal. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
you have to do it every day. There is no escape from it. It's not like you can become the best basketball player or the best in anything in just day one. It comes eventually, and you have to be patient. It will take like 5 years, sometime 10 years, probably 15 years. And everybody nowadays want to get everything yesterday, but that's not going to happen. So make sure you give enough of the time and be consistent with that, and just be reach out to a point where you say that what's your new year resolution is my everyday. So once you reach at that point and that phase, that it's not my new year resolution to write code every day, it's what I do every day. And that's when you eventually start understanding the concept and behind the scenes and everything. And one thing that I have been known for is the consistency. In some of you don't know this, but there was one year that every single day I used to post up day one, day two, day three, and reminding the people that follow me along. A lot of people started. I think nobody was able to keep up with me. I haven't taken a day off because I don't need to take a day off. It's all good. I'm working out every day, reading emails, writing code, building stuff. So make sure there is no shortcut of that. You cannot become the great. What you see me, have you seen my videos earlier, which I was posting 5 years ago? They are horrible. I cannot watch them now. But one thing that I have got is recording every single day. I'm upgrading my camera. The only thing that I want to do is I don't want to make the same videos 5 years from now. I want to be upgraded. I want better color correction. I want better content, better way of telling the stories, better camera gears and everything. So that's what you need to look after. Just how you can become a little better every single day. And that's all it matters. It's not like I'm having a heroic story or something. It just, I'm a little more consistent than you, like probably like 5 years or 6 years of more consistent than most people.
And that 5 or 6 years of consistency is what makes the difference and makes or breaks the deal for you. If you are consistent for 5 or 6 years, you will get where you want to go. It
Yeah,
will
that's all
not
it.
be immediate, but you will get there.
Yeah, and one thing that I would like to add a little bit more onto that, just take care of your goddamn health. Otherwise, you will regret everything. We are in the computer field. Your back is gonna get very soon out of anything that is not good. So make sure you take care of your health, and don't learn it the hard way. Learn it the easy way. Focus on your health. Hit out the workout, gym, yoga, whatever you do, or take a walk in the park for an hour. Just do it. So make sure you take care of your health. I do it take care of my health every single time when I'm about to visit any country. Just one month before that, I am at the peak of my fitness level, and that always keeps me in the check. So again, make sure you just don't keep on focusing on just code, and health is important. If you want to work more, work out more.
And so that is amazing, an amazing insight. Health is wealth. And in order to earn wealth in the future, you have to take care of your health right now. That
Absolutely.
is that is what how you can sum it up, I'd say.
Yes.
Okay, so now we move on to the next question, which is how can a student from a tier 3 college get into a product-based company? Oh, that is a question that bothers everyone from a tier 3 college,
Just
including
take your
myself.
da- take just take care of your data. I'm not from a tier one college. Yes, I have taught classes in IIT Bombay, but I haven't studied in the tier one colleges myself. I didn't had resources, to be honest. My rank was 4,000 or something, around like under 5,000. I could have got the best of the best colleges at that time. But again, I didn't had resources at that time. My family didn't couldn't afford that. So anybody can crack down these FANG companies. And the easiest way is to get hired in some startup or something and then make it your second company. Don't make FANG your first company or first choice. Make it your second company or third company. That is the easiest route that I think I can figure it out. And once you get into that, build up your connections, go into conferences, get some good, nice people that are already working in there. And it's not like you always have to do a regular job there. There are enough of contract positions where they hire other developers, testers, and everybody, and you can still get same amount of money that they are paying to everybody else. In fact, sometimes contractors are getting paid better because they don't take care of our dentals, they don't take care of our health insurance, so they pay a little bit extra to us so that we just sit here and work.
Okay, so contract working on a contract basis is better.
Yeah,
You're
and make
saying.
sure that your FANG is your second or third or fourth company. Keep on the switch. Don't like, I'll get out of the college and I'll be in Google. That's going to be tough for you,
No,
man.
that
Get
is
in somebody,
like
some
if
company
I
like Zoho, Flipkart, and other companies, and then make a switch.
Yeah, that is what I would like to add on. I am currently in my third year. My third year has just started, and I never like I'm not trying to paint myself as this amazing person or anything, but I'm just speaking relating to what you said. I never dream about getting into Google or Amazon or Facebook right after college, right? I'd be more than happy if I get a job at Zoho or let's say 1MG, Book My Show, or
Yeah,
Snapdeal or
that
Hike,
would be,
because these companies, yeah, that is amazing to work there and to get insight on how startups work. And we at ESL Kite also are a startup. You can say we work like a startup. We
yeah,
manage
so that
everything
is
on our
actually a
own.
better. And you would be surprised that it's not really like all dream there to work in FANG companies. They have their internal politics and everything going on. So it's not like everything is sunshine and rainbow there. It's a whole nightmare there. And that's why you might have seen people leave those companies as well, leave their job and do something very small because they are fed up with that. So it's not like all sunshines and rainbows there. If somebody would say
That,
to me right now that, hey, go ahead and work on Amazon or Facebook or Google or anything, I would still think that, do I really want to go there? Probably not.
in my opinion, that the fan companies in general and all the tier one companies, as we might say, they have been overly praised when it comes to
It,
Indians.
it's their
We are over
marketing. Like
fascinated by them.
who released this video of their best offices and food and everything? They release that.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah, and like I'm sure there are perks. One of my cousin brothers works for Google. He was from a tier three college, and his first job was in Google, which is amazing. Incredible achievement. Everyone in the family was going
Read these
crazy.
books by Guy Kawasaki and everything. They say that those free food is there so that you can skip your breakfast at home and come early and work there.
Come, yes, yes, exactly. Like he gets a cab and food and everything, a gym and everything. But that is in order to ensure that they keep on focusing on their work. They are not doing
Exactly.
that as a charity. It is because they want their productivity to get increased. We can say
Yeah, and on top
their
of that,
employees
like
are happy.
it's like it's not like you are making like $1 billion there. You what's the cap is like for a fresher, it's like 200,000, $300,000. But on top of that, that's a living expense also you have to maintain there. So $200,000, I don't think it's a big amount in USA. In India, it's
No, no, no,
definitely
not
much.
at all.
200,000 is like I know how the expensive city works. I have lived my time in Switzerland, especially in the Lucerne area of the Switzerland nearby to Geneva. So I know how expensive it can get.
So I just now got a notification that this live is going to end in 10 seconds. There is some
Okay,
sort of
so
time
okay,
cap
so
on the.
yeah, okay, so bye bye.
So
That was all
thank you
for
so much
today.
for joining us.